Welcome into Rogue Football. I'm your host, Jordan Lugo. Thank you so much for tuning in here today. We are looking at the Houston Texans, specifically some of their top rookies. This is a brand new football team, brand new direction with new head coach DeMeco Ryans, an entirely new coaching staff, a lot of young, talented players, a lot of rookies that are entering 2023 with high expectations for turning this franchise around, getting them back out of the gutter. And so we're going to look at some of the performances we saw in preseason week 1 from these young rookies that are going to be expected to contribute to the Texans' success in 2023. A team that I don't think the expectation is playoffs, but the expectation is definitely to take steps in the right direction, to finish with a better record than you did in 2022, which will not be difficult. But looking at what we saw here, the Texans, they took CJ Stroud at number 2 overall, the quarterback out of Ohio State. This is a guy that a lot of people, most people that I trust and throughout my own evaluation, I think you look at him as clearly a first round talent. I don't necessarily think he was a top of the first round type talent at the quarterback position, but a legitimate first round grade for CJ Stroud. And he got the start for the Texans in preseason week 1 against the New England Patriots. Certainly a team that is not the easiest to match up with in your first game, even if it is in the preseason. You saw that with the interception, but only 4 throws total for CJ Stroud, 2 of 4 on the night. Not earth-shattering, obviously, but I did think you saw the wheels and the escapability on one play where Keion White crashed into the pocket. CJ Stroud was able to escape and pick up a couple yards. I liked that because it showed the physical ability, the talent, the escapability, and the speed and quickness to be a pocket passer plus. CJ Stroud is not going to be a dual threat quarterback in the NFL. But if he can extend plays, if he can escape the pocket at times when he needs to, it's going to aid him. You saw the ability for him to do that against the University of Georgia at the end of his college career. He didn't put that on display a ton in college at Ohio State. So seeing him do that in his first game in limited action, I think was a good sign for CJ Stroud, escaping Keion White and getting out of the pocket, picking up a couple yards for his football team. I did think it looked like things were moving a little bit fast for him, that he needs to settle down a little bit. And that's normal to have nerves in your first start, even if it is in the preseason, right? But I think that CJ Stroud looked fine. I think you're going to see an accurate quarterback who's going to make good decisions for the most part. On the interception, he's a rookie that got fooled by a veteran, Jalen Mills, who was just sitting back there freelancing a little bit, waiting on that deep throw to Tank Dell on the 7th stop. Dell got open. He was able to burn his man. He was able to put Jack Jones on skates a little bit there. But then with Jalen Mills just kind of roaming back there, he was ready for it all the way, got the interception. Probably a throw that CJ Stroud, you're going to go study the tape. You're going to realize that what the pre-snap look was from the defense wasn't what ended up happening, and you'll see that a lot from the New England Patriots. Learning moment for CJ Stroud, no doubt about it, but I think overall nothing to be down on him about. Very limited action for him in his first start, again against a tough defense, a tough defensive coaching staff that's going to feast on rookies. So I wouldn't be too worried about what I saw from CJ Stroud. And in fact, I would be encouraged about what I saw from him in terms of the escapability. You do want to see him not running backwards, running for his life, right? I think that the offensive line struggled a little bit for the Texans, but it's not the starting offensive line outside of Juice Scruggs, who I thought played well. We'll get into him. But I'd be remiss if we did not next talk about Will Anderson, who the Texans traded back up for to get early in the first round. Big move for them. Now he's with them. He's a guy that I was a huge fan of coming out of Alabama. Pretty much everybody consensus had a first round grade, a high first round grade on Will Anderson outside of a couple people. Box score for him, it was whatever, only 1 tackle. But to me, he looked very good. He looked very athletic getting around the edge. I think he was defeating blocks quickly in the running game. He showed his signature high motor, kind of chasing some plays. I think he did a good job looping inside, creating a pressure on a stunt. Showed speed around the edge, as I mentioned. I thought it was a very encouraging start for Will Anderson overall. I think you want to see him show a little bit more strength and balance after he gains the edge to be able to flatten and get to the quarterback without getting too far upfield. But again, overall, a very good start for Will Anderson, in my opinion. A guy who might not be on the level of like a a Nick Bosa, somebody that DeMeco Ryans coached in San Francisco. But I think that he has the ability to be a consistent Pro Bowl caliber player at the NFL level. I think this was one step in the right direction for Will Anderson. And then one of the stars of the show, my goodness, Tank Dell out of Houston, now playing for the Houston Texans, did not have to travel very far from college to the pros there. He was pretty much the star of the show last night. 5 catches on 8 targets, 65 yards. His ability to separate in space and in tight windows, I thought was really nice. Has elite change of direction and twitch. The Patriots, they were playing pretty much off most of the time, so he had free releases, so I don't think you saw him challenged at the line of scrimmage a lot. You did see a little bit of press, but they didn't really get physical with him. So you're going to want to see how he adjusts to that at the NFL level, because there's going to be times where you got physical DBs up in your face and you're going to have to adjust to that. He wasn't really tasked with doing that in preseason week 1, so you can't blame him for not seeing that type of look from the defense. All you can do is give him credit for pretty much catching everything thrown his way, for creating a lot of separation, for being able to find a soft spot in the zones, and then winning one-on-one. He had a really nice route in the red zone, was able to win on that back shoulder ball, didn't catch it cleanly at first, but was able to make the kind of miraculous juggling catch as he fell to the ground. He still had his butt and his leg in bounds and was able to make that grab for a touchdown for the Texans. I'm really excited about him. Great start for him. Does not run the fastest 40-yard dash ever, but he has tremendous game speed. I think you saw that on display. And I think Bobby Slowick will do a really good job, the Texans offensive coordinator, of putting him in positions to succeed, of using his ability that he does have as a great route runner, a really good catch point guy, a guy that has very good speed on the field to the best of their ability. I think it's going to be an impressive marriage of talent and coaching in Houston for Tank Dell and that offense. And then talking about Juice Scruggs out of Penn State, the center who's probably going to start for them. I think he'll definitely start for them. I thought he looked awesome overall. He mostly controlled the point. He was assignment sound. He passed off blocks at a high level, very good in pass protection, just looked in control. He wasn't entirely perfect. I think there was a rep where he ended up on his knees in the run game, but overall, very solid performance from Juice Scruggs. A pick that a lot of people kind of criticized how early he came off the board. I was a fan of him on day 2, so I liked it for the Texans. I think they needed to upgrade that center spot, and I think he will do that for them in 2023 and beyond. Stinks that Dylan Horton couldn't go. That's a guy that's got a lot of explosiveness, was super productive at TCU in 2022 for the Horned Frogs, helping them get as far as they did. And so hopefully you'll be able to see him at some point. But, very encouraging start, in my opinion, for these young Texans. They got the win, which doesn't really matter. But you saw a lot of good performances from their rookies. You saw C.J. Stroud show the ability to escape, to be mobile when he needs to be. Obviously, he got fooled by the veteran Jalen Mills. That'll happen. It's going to be up and down during his rookie year. That's the way it goes for rookie quarterbacks in the NFL, no matter who you are. But I think this system will help him. I think it will help the pieces around him. I'm excited to see how it all plays out. And Will Anderson, I thought he looked good. Tank Dell and Juice Scruggs both looked really, really solid in their first performances for the Houston Texans. So if you're a Texans fan, I think you should be encouraged by what you saw. I wouldn't be worried about what C.J. Stroud put on display at all. 4 passes is not going to dictate. It's not going to write the book on C.J. Stroud. I think he's still going to be a really quality starting quarterback in this league who has the ability to be an effective pocket passer, game manager, somebody who can also push the ball down the field at times, but also escape when needed and make some plays with his legs. So really exciting stuff for the Texans. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you enjoy the content here, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Really appreciate y'all. Have a good one.